Fowler. We are back. One of the hot button issues here on the Fowler Show, we are talking about vaccinations. As you know, oh, I'm about to get you started. These anti-vaxxers are crazy in the United States, but apparently France has decided that they are going to put the kibosh on this, making vaccinations mandatory for all children. Wow, smart, smart. Yeah, apparently there's been a measles outbreak in Italy. So Prime Minister Édouard Philippe announced an address to the French Parliament that vaccines unanimously recommended by health authorities will become mandatory starting next year. Meanwhile, in Italy, where more than 25,000 or 2,500 cases of the measles have been reported this year, vaccines for 12 diseases were made obligatory by the government in May. Now, for whatever reason, vaccines have been the center of a tense debate this past year. While many parents believe them to be a personal choice, others see it as a public health crisis when children aren't vaccinated.
Well, I just think it depends. So now I will say this. My mom is a health professional, and there are vaccines that I don't have because my mom is a health professional. And she's like, you really don't. Like, not that you need, like, the ones that you need. Like, you need a measles vaccination.
Well, are these vaccines that are universal? Obviously, I mean, the way that France described it, right? They described them as vaccines unanimously recommended by health authorities. So I assume that the ones that your mom was talking about
there's like the elective vaccines that she's like, you really don't need that.
Yeah.
So I don't have those. But majority of the vaccines I have. And I also, I mean, when I went to Africa, I have yellow fever now. Like the yellow fever vaccine. Most people don't have the yellow fever.
So you're immune to yellow fever. You've
Yeah.
built up the antibodies.
Mm-hmm.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And I have typhoid. And I just did my when I went to, and I also did my typhoid, which is like 4 pills for the typhoid.
Oh, it's pills. It's not a shot.
No, it's like 4 pills over a series of a couple days.
How about that? Well, this is a perfect example. So the reason that vaccines basically eradicated disease like measles is because for a long period of time, people trusted their doctors instead of reading things on the internet that convinced them that vaccines cause autism. Now, our President Donald Trump is also a vaccine autism questioner, because of course he is, tweeting out nonsensical statements that made it seem like there is actually a debate about whether vaccines cause autism or not. Now, unanimously, doctors all agree that there's no link between vaccines and autism, and there is one study that was widely discredited that was the basis for all of this controversy in the first place.
Here's the story. Just vaccinate. I felt like I said the same line last time we did this. Vaccinate your damn kids.
Yeah.
Like, vaccinate your kids. And you remember, you're not vaccinating your kids for your kids. You're vaccinating your kids for the fact that we live in a globalized world and there are other really, really stupid people out there that are like, we don't believe in vaccines. Yeah,
so it's like a herd immunity. It's like almost like a math problem, right? So the higher amount of people you have in the herd that are vaccinated,
the less likely the disease is to spread.
Right, and the problem is when you start getting these thousands and thousands of children who are dying of measles, you end up in a situation where there's going to be some kids that are not vaccinated and they're exposed and nothing happens. The problem is once you have too low of a ratio of the herd not being vaccinated, you can end up with a kid who has a weaker immune system or is sickly who ends up dying because you read on a blog that vaccines are bad for you.
Just vaccinate your damn kids.
And I think, unfortunately, because our president is Donald Trump, we're never going to see an announcement like this from our president. But sometimes, when people get too stupid, the government has to step in.
Also, it's a state. This is a state thing. I mean, this is not a federal government regulation. It's a state regulation, and so there's that, right? But let's people do the responsible thing.
You know what?
We live in a community.
I think countries outside of the United States that have reasonable vaccination policies should put out a travel ban on the United States, saying,
"Well,
guys,
here's the thing: we have 50 different vaccination policies.
One for each state, right?
Yeah, and 51, or actually 52, or maybe 54 if you count all our territories.
And DC.
Well, I said 54, 55. Yeah, because you have Guam.
Right.
You
Puerto
have
Rico.
Puerto Rico. You have the U.S. Virgin Islands. You have Samoa. U.S. Samoa. I think I'm missing 1 or 2 other territories.
Well, there you have it. So France is
Didn't
doing...
think I knew all that, did you?
Richard knows it all.
Ooh.
France is doing the right thing right now. This is obviously a hot button issue. If you're thinking about not vaccinating your kids, don't be an idiot. And they won't get measles and everyone will be happy. All right.